European Council, Mr. Donald Tuski, and I'd like to give them the floor for a statement. Mr. Rõivase, please.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor and also a pleasure to welcome once again, now for the first time in the capacity of the President of the European Council, Donald Tusk in Tallinn. I believe that there has been no European leaders so far that knows this region and also Estonia and the feels of our people in Estonia as well as Donald Tusk. So it's not only officially but also personally a big celebration for us to have you come over and to have this kind of very serious and thorough discussions with you today. We had a good working lunch and discussed the working program, the security of the region, of course, but also the economic situation and the prospects of the Eurozone, and of course the topics that will be on our table at the European Council upcoming in February. Most importantly, we talked about the Russian actions and situation in Ukraine. 2014 was the year that geopolitics returned again to Europe, and since then I do believe that the EU has grown much stronger, united and more determined in responding to this immense challenge. And in this context, our first priority is and has always been stopping the violence in Ukraine, and the recent ceasefire violations, however, show that the fundamentals of the ceasefire to hold are not in place, and thus there is still a lot of work to do, and we do hope that the Normandy process upcoming again at the end of next week will show some positive developments. I believe the EU has sent the right message at the European Council in December. It was the first council to be chaired by Mr. President, and the signal was that we must stay the course and take further steps when necessary. The fundamental policy decisions vis-à-vis Russia remain at the European Council table, and there are those who want to open new avenues in EU-Russia relations in the field of trade or something, but the geopolitical problems that Russia has created cannot be solved by technical means. Unfortunately, while the EU has been clear in its willingness to engage in a dialogue to find a sustainable political solution to the Ukraine crisis, our calls sometimes remain unanswered, and therefore our two-track approach remains relevant, namely the calling for a dialogue and, on the other hand, restrictive measures, of course. Russia still fails to deliver on key commitments under the Minsk agreements. And EU support for Ukraine has to remain strong, yet conditional. 2015 is a year of strategic goodwill towards Ukraine, but the window of opportunity is narrow, both domestically and internationally. And domestically, Ukraine urgently needs three things, and those three things are reforms, reforms, and reforms. Now, in the light of the upcoming informal European Council in February, we discussed the topical issues regarding the economic and monetary union. In December, we agreed to move forward with investments, and in the upcoming months, we will also need to make important decisions on our own national budget plans and structural reforms, and it is by delivering on our rules and promises we will regain the trust of our citizens as well as the markets. We know what works in terms of monetary union, and now our task is to make it work. And in addition to the euro area issues, we also touched the energy security, connectivity, developing of the single market. Those are issues where Mr. President, and I don't remember on any cases that we have had any single, let's say, differences in our views. Our views are not only similar, but our views, I think, are the same in all of those. Perhaps, yes. Well, we didn't discuss sports and music and the upcoming Eurovision Song Contest, where our support might be somewhat different, but in all other issues, I believe our views are exactly the same. And of course, we did speak today also about the tragic events in Paris, and this is an attack on our values. It only strengthens our resolve to uphold our democratic principles, especially freedom of expression. And today we are all Parisians. Once again, thank you once again, Donald, for coming to Estonia. It's a real pleasure to host you here, and it's a real pleasure to have such a friend as President of European Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Taavi. First, I would like to thank Prime Minister Rõivase for his hospitality and for receiving me here today. Equally, I look forward to meeting President Ilves afterwards. Let me start with a comment on the barbaric attacks in Paris. Terror has struck in Europe. Sadly, it is not the first time. The European Union cannot do everything, but it can contribute to strengthening our security. As you remember, in reaction on 9/11, to 9/11, the EU developed the European arrest warrant, but we need to do more. Next week in Strasbourg, I will appeal to the European Parliament to speed up work on the EU passenger name record system, which can help in detecting the travel of dangerous people. And having spoken to President Hollande yesterday evening, I intend to use the meeting of heads of state and government on the 12th of February to discuss more broadly the response the EU can bring to these challenges. My visit to Estonia today is in fact one of the first in my new capacity. It's fact, I feel here like at home. And it is a good opportunity to discuss the many challenges lying ahead of us in 2015. One such challenge lies to the east. In this context, the EU must remain united in the defense of solidarity, freedom, and democracy. This is not a policy against Russia. It is a policy to ensure the respect of peace and borders in Europe. It is a policy that has a price tag on, a policy that requires sacrifices, not least here in your part of the European Union. But we cannot compromise on fundamental values and European security. The EU will stay the course as leaders decided at the December European Council. And thank you, Taavi, that you agree with this very clear and strong message. We will stay the course. Another challenge is to get the economy going. For that, we need to be innovative. This is your specialization. And this is an area where Estonia provides inspiration. Your country is one of the most innovative, technologically advanced democracies in the world and a natural frontrunner on digital development in the EU. It is not a compliment, this is a fact. And I think obvious not only in Tallinn, but also in Warsaw, Paris. Prime Minister Rõivase stressed to me today the need to accelerate work on creating a genuine digital single market. We will be dealing with this goal at the European Council in the first half of 2015. And finally, the Energy Union If we have a well-functioning, transparent and interconnected internal energy market, if we show solidarity when energy flows are disrupted, if we strengthen our bargaining power when talking to our suppliers, the real winners will always be European consumers. I will be working hard to realize this project over the coming years. Thank you very much again for your hospitality, Taavi. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.